Alex and I just read a chapter of The Happy Prince. We read this American style, like something maybe you would get in an IB classroom. This is how we discuss literature, like in an IB classroom in the United States. I'm going to show you guys some of that footage now so that maybe you guys can try this kind of IB style, discussion style reading with your children at home. Why do you think he's saying you have quite drenched me?
Cause like he's very wet since the happy prince cried.
Right, the statue of the prince was on top of him and it was weeping. So he realized, oh, it's not rain. You're crying on me. If you're the happy prince, why are you crying then?
Yeah.
You have drenched me. It's kind of like the swallows being a little sensitive.
Yeah.
Like usually if you were worried about a friend, you would say, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? But this guy, the swallow, is saying, what's wrong? Look, I'm all wet.
He did exaggerate with the reed.
Everything he does is exaggerated. That's right.
The reed bows. It's not really bowing. It's just that the wind is making it look like it's bowing.
What kind of character is the swallow? A very scientific kind of person, or an emotional person, or not person?
Sensitive,
bird.
very sensitive.
Very sensitive. Yeah, it's a very sensitive bird. A very sensitive character. That's right. The author is using words like weeping and sorrow. What else? What?
Weeping could have.
The author means the person who wrote the book. The person who wrote the
Weeping
story.
could have been crying.
Why are you weeping then? Could have been.
Why are you crying then?
Okay, and what about this? Where sorrow is not allowed to enter. Could have been.
Where sadness
is not allowed to enter. Why is the author using words like weeping and sorrow instead of crying and sadness?
More like powerful. It's much more powerful.
Yeah, they're much more powerful words, right? And he's saying, I never wondered what was beyond the wall. Why did he never wonder what was beyond the wall?
Because his life is too, beautiful to ask.
Think about somebody who's very rich, let's say, for instance. Do you think it's hard for them to imagine somebody who might be poor?
It's gonna be trickier than a normal person. Yeah.
Right. He's a happy prince who really doesn't know what's happening outside of his garden. He thinks everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I found out is, where was it? Everything about me was so beautiful. I really liked how he said that. He could have said everything in my life was joyful. He could have said that, but I liked how he said everything about me. So if it concerns me, it will be beautiful.
Okay, but right, good point. What kind of person would say that? Think of
a very rich, a little spoiled.
Vain, right? Spoiled is one way. Vain, a person who loves themselves. That's a good word. Vain. Let's write that here.
From Bowser, he thinks he's so good.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody who thinks they're great.
Is he not solid gold?
So okay.
Pharaoh's thinking, what? Your heart's not made of gold?
So what does that show the sparrow is?
This might kind of link back to she has no money, and this one he's thinking about the money.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Because he's thinking about money. He's like, it's stone. What? It's not gold?
In page 2, the swallow's friend said, why do you like the reed? The reed has no money. So swallows maybe are interested in art in
money.
Yeah, in things that are maybe not so much the heart, but maybe materialistic things.
Yeah, something you can actually see.
Yeah,
not like love.
Not like love or feelings. Okay.
That means the family's poor.
Exactly. Right. Well, the author could have said that family was very poor. How is this different than what I just said?
With this, you can really imagine. There's a seamstress, and she can't afford enough oranges, and the little boy's lying ill. You can imagine it.
What about what's not written on here? So close your eyes. I'm going to read it to you. Okay. You can relate to this. You're a little boy, okay? You're sitting there with a fever. You wish you had oranges. How does the mother feel? Is the mom enjoying embroidering?
No.
Why do we know she's not enjoying the embroidery?
Because, it's your child's sick. You have to give the queen's dress in time or you're fired. You can only give the river water to your children. That's stressful.
So she's stressful. Exactly. That's great. That's exactly where I was going with that. If you see here, it says her red hands. Her hands are coarse, red, pricked. Meanwhile, her child is lying right next to her. What would she rather be doing?
She'd rather take care of the child.
Yeah, she'd want to be holding her child. That's right. There's a poor lady. Her son was sick. You could say that as well, but you don't get that feeling for the character.
This part makes me cry.
Oh, the reason it's making you cry is because the writing is really beautiful and you can imagine it. Yeah. What's sad is it's true. Some people are very poor, But remember, he said, I never even thought about what was out there. It was pleasure, pleasure, pleasure all the time. And now he sees and now he's shocked. What is he describing here?
The swallow is like the town council. It really matches the personality.
Oh, the swallow and the town council are very similar in personalities. That's true. Selfish, worried about what people think of them.
And they think they're always well, my family is famous for its agility.
Yeah, right. Bragging, yes. You said at the beginning, he's saying all boys are the same. He met two boys who were a little rude. And so now all boys are the same.
Every boy is different,
Can you imagine another time in real life where that happens? Where you see a couple people and you assume it applies to everybody? When do we do that in society?
It happened with the Twin Towers. The people who what was the group of people who
The terrorists.
The terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and after that, they never could really trust that.
The Arabs
again. Just because it happened in with two people, it doesn't. Well, a group of people, it doesn't mean that every single Arab is the same.
Exactly. It's very, very true. We do this in society a lot with people who are different than us.
It's kind of like the Mexican going to America.
Or any immigrant going to America, to another country.
Going to America. It's going to be harder for them if, let's say there's a person from South America, but 2 years ago, a South American immigrant went to America and he killed a lot of people, let's say. But then it will be harder for another South American person to go.
Yes.
Because people will say, oh, are you going to try and kill us again?
Exactly. People, for some reason, are hardwired to distrust something that's different than they are. And when that thing that's different has maybe, if somebody in that group did something bad, you're less likely to trust them. So he's flying over the town. What kind of things does he see over the town? Happy things or sad things?
Happy things.
Happy things. White marble angels were sculptured. Is that a good image or a positive image or a negative image? Okay. Came out on the balcony with her lover. Is she happy or sad? Positive. How wonderful the stars are, she said. Positive. How wonderful is the power of love. Positive. So everything he's seeing, even though the prince said, my God, it's such a sad world. There's a child who's starving. Oh, it's horrible.
It's everyone's perspective. For the king, he chose to look at the sadness. The sparrow's choosing to look at the happiness.
Right. The prince decided to open his eyes and look at the real world, whereas the sparrow...
Not just the palace.
Not just the palace, whereas the sparrow is looking only at the happy things while flying over, right? Now he's left the palace and he's going into the city. Before it was lovers dancing, all these positive things. Now, how are the words changing? He passed over the ghetto. What is a ghetto? A poor part of town, a sad part. Ghettos are not, it's not a nice word also. It's negative. And saw the old Jews bargaining. Negative. Why is this negative?
Old is a little negative.
Yeah, he sees old people.
And bargaining is not something rich people would do.
Right. It's not something rich people would do. Also, does the sparrow think money is important?
Yeah.
He thinks being rich is important, right?
Yeah.
And if you see somebody bargaining, does that mean that they're really rich and they don't care about money? It means that they're worried about money, right? So for him, a person bargaining probably wouldn't be a good thing. Also, he saw the old Jews bargaining is a stereotype.
Yeah, Jews.
Yeah, Jews like money. Jews like to bargain like that. You know what a stereotype is, right?
No, I don't.
A stereotype means when you think all blank people are blank.
All
Americans. What could you say about an American? That's a stereotype.
Let's see.
All Americans are.
All Americans have guns.
Oh.
That is true.
Americans love their guns. It's not every single American, so it's a stereotype. Old Jews bargaining, it's a stereotype about Jewish people, right? He's also using the word Jews, not Jewish people.
1, 2, 3
Three,
negative, and the
and
whole
ghetto.
phrase is 4 negative, 5 negative.
So yeah, I went from positive, and then he went out to the city and saw negative, negative.